Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 9th. So students, in the previous video we have started reading with our 10th chapter from the book Beehive. The name of the chapter is Kathmandu, and in the previous video we have visited writer's visit to Pashupatinath temple, that is a very famous temple of Hindu religion, right? And we have read that our writer, that is Mr. Vikram Seth, he is talking about two very famous temples. So we will read in today's video about his visit to the second temple and many more things that he saw, or we can say that he experienced in Kathmandu. So let's begin the chapter. At the Bodhnath Stoop, the Buddhist shrine of Kathmandu, there is, in contrast, a sense of stillness. So this is the second temple that he was talking about. So this is Bodhnath Stoop, and this temple, or we can say this holy place, is related with Buddha religion. Okay, so this is a kind of shrine. This is a very holy place of Kathmandu, and here Mr. Vikram Seth, he found a contrast, and why? Because there was a sense of stillness there, right? So in the previous video we have read that when he visited Pashupatinath temple, so there was a lot of chaos outside the temple, right? There was a great crowd there, so many activities going on there, and there was a lot of hustle and bustle. But when he visited this place, when he came to this shrine, so there he found that there was a sense of stillness. So this is the reason that he is saying that there was a contrast from Pashupatinath temple, right? So both the places, they were have a very different atmosphere. While in Pashupatinath temple there was a great crowd, or we can say a great chaos was there, but here in the Bodhnath Stoop there was we can say peace was there, stillness was there, quietness was there. So this is the reason both the places were totally different. There was a great contrast in the atmosphere of both the places. Its immense white dome is ringed by a road, and now the writer is presenting this place. He is giving a description of this place, and he is saying that it's immense white dome. So this place is having a white colored dome. So students, in this picture you can see this is the white colored dome, right? And it was very immense. Immense means extremely great, extremely big, very huge. So this place, this stoop was having a very big dome, and that dome was of white color, and that dome was ringed by a road. Okay, small shops stand on its outer edge. Many of these are owned by Tibetan immigrants. Felt bags, Tibetan prints and silver jewelry can be bought here, right? So small shops were there, and small shops stand on its outer edge, and on those shops, what was there? Many of these are owned by the Tibetan immigrants. So what immigrant means? Immigrant is a person who comes to live in a foreign country. It means जितने भी वहाँ पे shops थी, and all the owners of those shops were Tibetan, right? And they were immigrants. It means they have left their own country Tibet, and now they were living in Kathmandu. Now they were living in Nepal. So this is the reason that they are called as immigrants, right? And they were the owners of those shops, and they were selling felt bags. So in this picture you can see these are the felt bags. Felt is a particular kind of material, and these bags are made of that material that is known as felt, and they were selling Tibetan prints and silver jewelry, right? So all this stuff can be bought from here. All these kind of stuff was being sold on such places. There are no crowds. This is a heaven of quietness in the busy streets around. So now the writer is saying that there was no crowd. So this was something very strange. This was something very different from what the writer has seen in Pashupatinath temple, right? That was full of people. That was so many people, so much crowd was there. But here the writer saw that there was no crowd, and this is the reason that the writer is saying that this place is a heaven of quietness in the busy streets around. So what is heaven? Heaven means a safe place. So the writer is saying that this place was just like a heaven of quietness. Why? Because all around, all the streets were so much busy, so much noisy, but this place was so much quiet, so much peace was there. So the writer is regarding this place as a heaven of quietness. Okay, Kathmandu is vivid, mercenary, religious, with small shrines to flower adorned deities along the the narrowest and busiest streets. And now the writer is saying he is describing Kathmandu in his own words according to his experience, and he is saying that Kathmandu is very vivid. So what is vivid? Vivid is intensely deep and bright. And what mercenary means? Mercenary is concerned with making money. It means why writer is saying that Kathmandu is a place that is mercenary, because so many shops were there, so many shops owner are there, and they are doing their business, right? So they are making money, they are earning money. So this is the reason that the writer is saying that Kathmandu is a place that is very vivid, that is very mercenary, and it is religious, obviously, because two very famous temples are there that are related to two different religions, and this place is having small shrines to flower adorned deities along the narrowest and busiest streets. So all the streets of Kathmandu, they are very narrow and they are very busy. Why? Because a lot of activities are going on there, okay, with fruit sellers, flute sellers, hawkers of postcards, shops selling western cosmetics, film rolls and chocolate, or copper utensils and Nepalese antiques. So why all the streets of Kathmandu, they are so much busy? Because there are so many hawkers, there are so many so many shops are there, so many owners are there, right? And what they are selling? So there are fruit sellers who are selling different kinds of fruits, there are flute sellers who are selling flute, right? And there are hawkers of postcards, shops selling western cosmetics and film rolls. So what is film rolls? So students, here in this picture you can see this is the film roll. So now we all are having smartphones with cameras, but earlier at that time one ordinary camera was there, and this kind of film roll was needed for that camera, right? So this kind of film roll was also there, and chocolate and copper utensils. So in this picture you can see these are the utensils that are made of copper. The copper is a kind of metal, and also Nepalese antiques were there. So antiques means age old things, right? So all this kind of stuff was being sold there in the markets, or we can say in the narrow and busy streets of Kathmandu. Film songs blare out from the radios, car horn sounds, bicycle bells ring, stray cows low questioningly at motorcycles, vendors shout out their wares. And now the writer is presenting different kinds of sound, different kinds of noise that was there in Kathmandu, right, that he was hearing. So he is saying that some radios were there and film songs blare out from the radios. Then there were some vehicles including car. So वो सभी व्हीकल्स के जो हॉर्न थे उन हॉर्न्स की आवाज आ रही थी, राइट? एंड सम बाइसाइकल्स वर देयर, सो बाइसाइकल्स बेल्स रिंग, देन स्ट्रे काउज वर देयर, एज वी हैव read in the previous video that so many cows and monkeys were there. So stray cows were there and they were making low. So low is a sound, that a deep sound that is produced by cows, okay? So cows were also making sound. Why? As if they were asking one question at motorcycles, okay? Some vendors were there who were shouting out for their wares. So what is wares? Wares means articles for sales, okay? So जो भी वहाँ पे vendors थे और we can say जो भी वहाँ पे hawkers थे, they were shouting for their stuff, they were shouting for their things, they were shouting for the articles that they were selling. I indulge myself mindlessly. So now the writer is saying that there was so many activities going on, so much noise was there, and finally the writer, he indulged himself. So what is indulge? Indulge means to enjoy. So writer was enjoying himself mindlessly by a bar of marzipan, a corn on the cob roasted in a charcoal brazier on the pavement. And then next he bought something. So he is saying that first of all he bought a bar of marzipan. So what is marzipan? Marzipan is a name of a sweet, is a kind of dish, it is a dessert. So in this picture students you can see this dish is known as marzipan and it is a dessert. It means it is a sweet dish, right? And this dish is made with almonds, that you can see here in this picture also. So the writer, he bought one bar of this dish, that is marzipan. Next he bought corn on the cob that was roasted in a charcoal brazier, right? So first let's see what brazier means. Brazier is a open stove, like in this picture you can see this is a stove and this is a open stove, and here some charcoals are there, some coils are there, right? और वो जो कॉर्न है उस कॉर्न को इस स्टोव पे रोस्ट किया जाता है, राइट. सो वी ऑल नो कॉर्न. इन दिस पिक्चर यू कैन सी दिस इज अ कॉर्न. सो द नेम ऑफ द डिश इज कॉर्न ऑन द कॉब, एंड इन दिस डिश कॉर्न इज रोस्टेड in a charcoal brazier on the pavement. Next, it was rubbed with salt, chili powder and lemon. It means जो corn है उसको पहले roast किया जाता है. After that, it was rubbed with some salt, some lemon, some chili powder. Okay, so it was so spicy, so tasty. A couple of love story comics and even a reader's digest. So these are some of the books. So after that, the writer he bought a couple of love story comics, and next he bought a magazine, a book that is reader's digest. So he bought all these things. All this I washed down with Coca-Cola and a nauseating orange drink and feel much the better for it. And after that, the writer he just wanted to wash down everything. So what wash down means? It means to digest. So he just wanted to digest everything. So for that, first of all, he bought one Coca-Cola drink. So Coca-Cola is a kind of beverage. It's a kind of drink. So he bought this beverage, and after that, he bought one orange drink that was quite nauseating. It means that was quite sickening, and after that he was feeling much the better for it, right. So the writer he was enjoying in Kathmandu. He just wanted to experience each and everything in Kathmandu. So he was trying जो वहाँ की local dish है that is very much famous, marzipan. He tried that dish, and he also tried one dish that was made with corn, and after that, just to digest each and everything, he drank these beverages. First of all, he drank Coca-Cola, and then he drank one nauseating orange drink, and after that he was feeling much better. I consider what route I should take back home. Now the writer is talking about the next thing. So now he is saying that after that he was considering, he was thinking that what route he should take back home. So in the chapter earlier we have read that writer had gone to China, and now he was coming back to India, right. And as of now he is there in Kathmandu in Nepal. So from now he has to go back to India. Okay, so now he was considering, he was thinking about the route, that what route he should take to go back home, what route he should take to go back to India. If I were propelled by enthusiasm for travel per se, I would go by bus and train to Patna, then sail up the Gangas past Banaras to Allahabad, then up the Yamuna past Agra to Delhi. So now the writer is presenting the different options that he was having considering the routes. So first of all, he is saying that if he was propelled by enthusiasm for travel per se. So let's understand the meaning of the words first. So propelled means drive or push forward, enthusiasm means zeal, and per se means by itself. So he is saying that if at that time he was having the enthusiasm, if he was having the zeal to travel more and more, because in the chapter earlier we have read that writer likes to travel, right. He loves traveling a lot. So he is saying that if at that time he was having the enthusiasm, if he was having the zeal to travel more and more, then definitely he would have chosen this route. Why? Because if at that time he just wanted to go by bus and train to Patna, then he just wanted to sail up in the river Ganga, and in river Ganga past Banaras to Allahabad, then in river Yamuna past Agra to Delhi. So this route includes a lot of traveling, right. First of all by bus or train, and then next in two different rivers, Gangas and Yamuna. So he is saying that this was the first option that he was having, and if at that time he just wanted to travel more and more, if he was having the enthusiasm to travel more and more, then definitely he would have chosen this route, because this route includes a lot of traveling. But he is saying that but I am too exhausted and homesick. Today is the last day of August. Go home, I tell myself. Move directly towards home. So he is saying that instead of choosing this option, what was there in his mind? So he is saying at that time the writer he was too much exhausted. So what exhausted means? It means tired, and homesick means he was missing his home very much. So writer was very much exhausted, he was very much tired, and he was missing his home, because we have read that he is coming from China. So for a very long time he is there in abroad. So now he just wanted to go back home, and this was the last last day of August, so he just told himself that go home and move directly towards home. So yes, this was a good option if he just wanted to travel more and more, but you know, at that time the writer was very much exhausted and he was homesick, he was missing his home very much and he just wanted to go back home. So he didn't choose this option. So now what option he was having, let's see. I enter a Nepal Airlines office and buy a ticket for tomorrow's flight. So finally he chose this option. So finally he entered into a Nepal Airlines office and there he bought one ticket for next day's flight. So he chose that he would go back home by air, he would go back home by flight. So he bought one ticket for himself. I look at the flute sailor standing in a corner of the square near the hotel. Next, the writer is presenting one more scene and he is saying that, you know, when he was near the hotel, then the writer, he looked at the flute sailor who was standing in a corner of the square near the hotel. In his hand is a pole with an attachment of the top from which 50 or 60 bansuris protrude in all directions like the quills of a porcupine. And now the writer is presenting the description of that flute sailor. So writer is saying that, you know, in his hand he was holding one pole, okay, and that pole was having an attachment at the top from which 50 or 60 bansuris protrude, yani wo, you know, it was coming out in all the directions just like the quills of a porcupine. So first of all, let's see here in this picture, this is a flute sailor, right, and this is the pole that he is holding, and we can say almost 50 or 60 bansuris that are coming out in different direction, right. And now the writer is comparing these bansuris with the quills of porcupine. So this is a porcupine, it is a kind of animal, and on his body he is having these kinds of quills. So the writer is presenting one comparison and he is comparing the flute that were rising in different direction from the quills of porcupine. Porcupine is a kind of animal that we can see here in this picture, clear. So writer is saying that, you know, the flute sailor, he was having one pole in his hand and that pole was having one attachment on the top, and from there almost 50 or 60 bansuris were coming out in different direction, and those bansuris were looking like just like the quills that are there on the body of a porcupine. They are of bamboo and all the bansuris, all the flutes were made of bamboo. They are cross flutes and recorders. So they are the different kinds of flutes, they are different kinds of bansuris. So in his collections he was having some cross flutes and some recorders. So students, in this picture you can see this is the cross flute. Cross flutes looks like this only, and these are the different kinds of recorders. So that flute sailor was having a very good collection and there were so many different kinds of flute. He was having some cross flutes also and some recorders also in his collection. From time to time he stands the pole on the ground, selects a flute and plays for a few minutes. And now the writer is presenting that what he was doing. So from time to time that flute sailor, he stands the pole on the ground that he was holding in his hand, and then he just selects a flute and started to play it for a few minutes. The sound rises clearly above the noise of the traffic and the hawkers' cries. And in the chapter earlier we have read that, you know, there was so much noise was there, so many different kinds of sound was there, and traffic was also there. But the writer is saying that when that flute sailor, he was playing his flute, so at that time the sound, or we can say the music that he was producing, that music was able to rise above all other noises, the noise of traffic and the hawkers' cries, the hawkers or vendors who were crying for their stuff, who were crying for their wares. But the sound of bansuri, the sound that he was producing, that sound was able to rise above all other noises that were there in the streets of Kathmandu. He plays slowly, meditatively, without excessive display. And now that flute sailor, he was playing his flutes, his bansuris in a very slow manner, and meditatively means thoughtfully, right, without any excessive display. So he was enjoying his bansuri, he was enjoying the music. he does not shout out his wares. And one more thing is there that is very much different in this flute seller. And what is that? The flute seller, he was not shouting for his wares. And we have read earlier in the chapter that all the other hawkers, all the other vendors, they were shouting for their wares, they were shouting for the stuff. But this flute seller, he was not at all shouting. He was just playing his flute in a very slow manner and very thoughtfully. Occasionally he makes a sale, but in a curiously offhanded way, as if this were incidental to his enterprise. Next, the writer is saying that yes, occasionally he makes a sale. There were some people who were buying flutes for him, but that flute seller, he was behaving as if it is very much offhanded. Offhand means casual, right? As if this were incidental to his enterprise. Enterprise means business, and incidental means as if he was not expecting this thing, that some people will be there and they will buy his flute. Okay, so he was behaving as if in a very casual manner, as if it was very incidental. It was something that was not at all expected in his business. Sometimes he breaks off playing to talk to the fruit seller, and sometimes he just wanted to take a break. So at that time he just stops playing the music, and he started talking to the flute seller who was also standing there nearby. I imagine that this has been the pattern of his life for years. And now the writer is saying that when he was observing this flute seller for a very long time, so after that the writer is saying that he was imagining this thing, that this was the pattern of his life for many years. It means for a very long time he is doing the same thing. For a very long time he is selling the flutes, he is playing his flutes, he is enjoying the music, right? So this is the pattern of his lifestyle. This is a pattern of his life for a very long time. I find it difficult to tear myself away from the square. And now the writer is saying that he was so much attached, he was so much impressed, he was so much interested in that flute music that it was very difficult for him to tear himself away from the square where that flute seller was and where that music was. Flute music always does this to me. And writer is saying that always whenever he hears flute music, so always he feels the same way. It is at once the most universal and most particular of sound. And this is the reason that the writer is saying that जो flute music होता है, it is the most universal and the most particular of sound. And why the writer is saying so, let's see. There is no culture that does not have its flute. The reed, the recorder, the Japanese shakuhachi. So next the writer is presenting this thing, that why he is calling the flute music to be most universal and the most particular of sound. So he is saying that there is no culture in the entire world that does not have its flute. So writer is saying that there are so many different kinds of flutes in each and every culture. And next he is presenting some of the examples, some of the different kinds of flutes. So first of all he is saying that there is the reed ne. So this is a particular kind of flute that we can see in this picture. Second is the recorder that we have seen earlier also. Next is the Japanese shakuhachi. So in this picture, students, you can see that this is the very particular flute, and this name is shakuhachi, and it is Japanese flute. The deep bansuri of Hindustani classical music that we all know, the clear or breathy flutes of South America. So in this picture you can see this is the flute of South America, and this particular flute is regarded as very clear and breathy kind of flute. Next is the high pitched Chinese flutes. So in this picture you can see this is the Chinese flute that is regarded as the high pitched flute, right? So these are the different kinds of flute. So writer is just wanted to say that each and every culture has their own particular flute. So this is the reason that the flute music is very much universal, right? Because in each and every country flute music is there, they are having their own flute, very particular kind of flutes. Each has its specific fingering and compass, and all the different kinds of flutes are having their own specific fingering. So what fingering means? It means we all know that flutes are having some particular holes, right? Some flutes are having 4 holes, some other are having 6 holes, right? And when we play flute, we just cover those holes with the help of our finger. So this is known the pattern of fingering. So writer is trying to say that each and every type of flute is having their own specific fingering pattern and their own specific compass. Compass means range. Range means the pitch of the sound that is produced by the flute. So writer is saying that each and every kind of flute is having their own particular fingering method, their own particular fingering pattern, and their own particular compass, their own particular range, or we can say their own particular pitch of the sound. It waves its own association, and all the different kinds of flutes, they are having their own association. Yet to hear any flute is, it seems to me to be drawn into the commonality of all mankind. And the writer is saying that flute music is really very much universal, and this is the reason the writer is saying that yet to hear any flute is, it seems to him to be drawn into the commonality of all mankind. So writer is saying that flute music, yes, it is universal, and whenever he hears flute music, he just realizes the commonality of all mankind. To be moved by music closest in its phrases and sentences to the human voice. And next writer is saying that whenever he hears flute music and he realizes its commonality, when he realizes that how universal it is, then always he just wanted to be close to all the phrases and sentences to the human voice. Its motive force too is living breath. And what is the motive force of the flute music? It is a living breath. It too needs to pause and breathe before it can go on. And this flute music, it also needed pause and breathe before it can go on, before it can continue. That I can be so affected by a few familiar phrases to the bansuri surprises me at first, for on the previous occasions that I have returned home after a long absence abroad, I have hardly noticed such details, and certainly have not invested them with the significance I now do. And now the writer is saying that yes, he was very much interested, he was very much impressed with that flute music, and now he is realizing this thing that this is something very much strange, and the writer is very much surprised about this thing. And this is the reason that he is saying that he is so much surprised, right? Because this is the very first time, this is the very first experience for him, because on the previous occasion, on all the earlier occasions, when he was going back home after a very long absence abroad, right? So पहले कभी भी उन्होंने ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया था जब बहुत टाइम बाद वो अपने घर जा रहे हैं, तो ऐसे में वो किसी म्यूजिक से इतना ज़्यादा अटैच हो गए, इतना ज़्यादा इम्प्रेस हो गए, ऐसा उन्होंने कभी फील नहीं किया था. सो दिस वॉज समथिंग न्यू फॉर हिम, दिस वॉज समथिंग स्ट्रेंज फॉर हिम, एंड द राइटर हिमसेल्फ इज वेरी मच सरप्राइज्ड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस थिंग. एंड ही इज सेइंग दैट never ever the writer had noticed such details, and never ever he was investing them with the significance, with the importance that he was doing as of now. Okay, so writer कह रहे हैं कि वो जितनी इम्पोर्टेंस दे रहे थे उस फ्लूट म्यूजिक को, जितनी डिटेल्स से उसको ऑब्जर्व कर रहे थे, उसको एंजॉय कर रहे थे. सो दिस वॉज हैपनिंग फॉर द वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम. सो दिस वॉज समथिंग वेरी न्यू, दिस वॉज समथिंग वेरी स्ट्रेंज फॉर हिम. ओके, बिकॉज इससे पहले वो जब कभी भी इतने लंबे टाइम के बाद घर जाते हैं, सो इस तरह का एक्सपीरियंस उन्होंने अपनी लाइफ में पहले कभी भी नहीं किया था. एंड द राइटर ही इज़ वेरी मच सरप्राइज्ड हिमसेल्फ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस थिंग. बट यस, दिस टाइम he is very much attached, he is very much attracted, and he is very much interested in the flute music, and flute music really have some kind of magic for him. This is the reason he is giving so much significance, he is giving so much importance, right? And he is observing each and every detail so minutely, so closely. Okay, so students, the chapter ends here. I hope the chapter is very much clear to you all the details, all the information that now we all have, everything is clear to you all. So we have read two very famous temples, Pashupatinath temple and the Bodhnath stoops, and so many other things about Kathmandu, about the streets of Kathmandu, about the local businesses that are there. Okay, and definitely now we are having more information about Nepal, more information about Kathmandu, and the culture that is there. So I hope everything is clear to you all. In the next video we will see the comprehension part, we will solve the questions. So see you in the next video. Thank you.